Good morning. I'm Berks County Commissioner Christian Leinbach, and I want to welcome you to the Commissioners' meeting for October the 5th. We are broadcasting live via Microsoft Teams live event. We're also on BCTV as well as Facebook and YouTube Live. At this time, let's begin with a moment of silence followed by a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, I'll recognize my executive assistant, Anne Marie Grill, to read the public comment policy.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Public comment will be accepted in person and through the Q&A function. Please include your first name, last name, and municipality for all comments. Any comments without name and municipality will not be considered. Each citizen can submit one comment. Comment length is dictated by limitations of the platform being used, Teams Q&A, Facebook, and YouTube. In-person comments will be accepted first, followed by comments submitted virtually. The meeting comment period is limited to a total of 30 minutes, including both in-person and virtual comments. This time period may be extended at the discretion of the board. Please be concise. Comments that are germane to county business will be read during the meeting and should not be considered to be interactive dialogue with the commissioners. The county solicitor shall be the final arbiter of whether a comment is germane and should be read. Any commissioner response to public comment will be done at the discretion of the commissioners.
That was good. No one online could hear a word I said because I had the microphone. You could hear. My apologies. We are entering a public hearing at the beginning of our meeting. This is a public hearing and a joint request from the Township of Onalani and Leesport Borough for an update to the Berks County 2030 comp plan. For the purpose of testimony in the hearing, we are not limiting you to 3 minutes time. So the township will have someone speak for them. The borough will have somebody speak on behalf of the borough. David Hunter, I believe you are speaking on behalf of planning. If there are other comments, either online or in person, those comments will be limited by the public comment policy. Is there any question about that or any concern? Because we don't want to make this difficult. Our objective here is to make sure the hearing of the sides is clear, and then if there's any public comment or questions, that they can be aired as well. Okay. So we will begin, and we'll start with David Hunter, our Director of Planning.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. 2 weeks ago, staff sent the commissioners a package, quite hefty package, with the materials that I will present this morning. I will walk the commissioners and the audience through that package.
Check and see if his mic's on. It wasn't. Start over.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to be like Mr. Chairman when I grow up.
No, you don't.
No, in some ways. 2 weeks ago, staff sent the commissioners a package, a hefty package with materials that I will present this morning. Let's make sure the clicker works. Oh boy, it was working.
Please advance. Thank you. The Berks County Planning Commission received a request from both Leesport Borough and Ontelaunee Township regarding changing the Berks County Comprehensive Plan's future land use designations at several parcels in Ontelaunee Township. The parcels are currently designated as future growth in the Berks County Comprehensive Plan 2030 update. The municipalities are requesting to redesignate certain parcels to rural conservation. Next slide. Subject parcels are shown on this graphic, totaling upwards of 256 acres. Parcel A and B, obviously on the north side of Ida Red Road. And there on the south side of Ida Red Road, there's the residual of parcel B, parcel C, D, and E, again, totaling a little over 256 acres. I'll get into the surrounding properties and the subject development located south of Ida Red Road. Next slide. Thank you. So the history of the request is as follows. Staff received a zoning amendment in May 24th of 22, and then at that time, staff commented that the portion of the proposed zoning change south of Ida Red Road from R1 low density to A1 agricultural was inconsistent with the Berks County Comprehensive Plan. There was also a request to review an agricultural security area. And on June 10 of 2022, staff recommended that the county's future land use plan designates the parcels located southwest of Ida Red Road as future growth and north of Ida Red Road as rural conservation. Staff recommended that this continue. And finally, in January of this year, staff commented that the proposed joint comprehensive plan amendment request by the two municipalities was also not consistent with the county's future land use. The township proposes to depict the properties for agriculture while the county designates them for future growth south, again, south of Ida Red Road. The county's future growth designation is defined as follows: developable land that is open, unoccupied, or currently farmed, and due to its location as appropriate for future urban high density and suburban medium density development requiring a full range of public services and facilities. Next slide. This is a map of the zoning in Ontelaunee Township prior to their change. South of Ida Red Road, again, is all R1, and staff recommended that it remain R1. North of Ida Red Road, rural conservation. Next slide. Again, we're looking at the zoning after the change by the township. And as you can see, there's an area that, again, staff recommends and the comp plan shows as future growth south of Ida Red Road. You see the development adjacent to the parcels, and we'll get into that discussion as we move forward. Next slide. And here's the future land use for Ontelaunee Township. Clearly, you can see rural conservation. Again, the dividing line, the line in the sand, if you will, is Ida Red Road, south of Ida Red Road. All of that is shown as future growth. Furthering staff's recommendation, we're looking at the sewer service and the sewer service area. Again, the line is Ida Red Road. So south of Ida Red Road, there is proposed sewer service, and there is a pump station that will speak to that services this area. So clearly, the dividing line for future growth and agricultural is Ida Red Road. Next slide. Yes, getting into the technicalities of our review, the municipalities planning code sections 302A1, B, and D outline the process for amending a county comprehensive plan. Subsection D states that the county must accept proposed amendments unless good cause for their refusal is established, and staff believe there is good cause for the refusal. Typically, growth areas are contiguous to existing developed areas where they can maximize existing investment in public sewer and water systems, transportation networks, and other public facilities and services, or where public sewer is anticipated for health and safety reasons. And again, public sewer is anticipated south of Ida Red Road. The county has limited growth areas that have access to public sewer and water and other infrastructure. The subject properties have development potential and redesignating them to rural conservation would not be an appropriate smart growth planning practice. Finally, the subject properties are the public sewer service area, the Leesport
Hold on. Yep, you're back.
We're back. We're back, folks. All right. So there is the depiction from Arrow Engineering showing where the lines are. And let's do the next slide for a blow up. Circle areas you can see. And well, now we see the parcels in question, A, B, C, D, E. And you see the existing sewer lines. So we have sewer lines actually south and southeast, southwest and southeast of the parcels that are being requested to be taken out of future growth. Next slide. Yes. Regarding good cause, in the spring of 2023, Ontolonie Township received a $300,000 grant from the PA Commonwealth Financing Authority and $230,000 from the Berks County American Rescue Plan funds for the upgrade to pump station number 7 pictured there. Ontolonie Township is upgrading sewage pump station number 7 on Journance Church Road from a 4-inch to a 6-inch force main and increasing the pumping capacity from 125 to 250 gallons per minute. This force main serves the subject properties. So a great site visit for everyone would be to actually visit the area. This is a photo of existing development adjacent to the subject properties, which include the Harvest subdivision, which includes 86 single-family dwellings. McIntosh Farms Phase 1 includes approximately 16 single-family homes, and McIntosh Farms Phase 2, currently under construction, consists of 24 single-family and 126 semi-detached homes. Can we go back just a couple of slides? I want to show the map again. Another, yes, no, actually 2 more. One more. I'm trying to get to a map. Can we keep going back to? Okay, if you can't go back, that's okay. I wanted to clearly show that the properties adjacent to parcel B are already platted. They have been approved. The plan came in 2004. And again, those are under construction as we speak. Okay, let's catch back up. Thank you. All right, so this is a picture of McIntosh Farms Phase 2. This is a view looking up Sungullah Drive. And that's a view looking from Leesport Farmers Market up the hill. And that's looking on Ida Red Road, looking south. So to the left, if you're standing where that picture is, to the left would be the subject parcel in question. Further down is the existing development of McIntosh Farms. All right, we're winding down finally. Yep. Next slide. Okay, so of September this year, September 13th, to be precise, the Planning Commission Board recommended against the requested amendment by Resolution 2023-01. The Berks County Planning Commission staff and the board recommend that the commissioners not adopt this out-of-turn county comprehensive plan amendment request. I stand ready to answer any questions, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Let's hold the questions till we get through all the presentations, if that's okay.
Yes, sir.
With you. Who is going to be presenting? And will there be 2 presenters, one from Leesport, one from Ontolonie, or one? That's fine. That's absolutely fine. And the mic's still on, right? Yeah, it is.
Good morning. I'm Chris Hartman, and my law firm represents both Leesport Borough and Ontolonie Township. With me tonight, or this morning, I should say, is Liz McGovern, who handles the work at Ontolonie Township for our firm, and also Gary Haddon, who is the vice chairman of the Board of Supervisors in Ontolonie Township. And he is the member of the supervisors who initiated the proposal that is now before the county commissioners. Leesport Borough is actively a part of this process because of the joint comprehensive plan that is shared by Ontolonie Township and Leesport Borough. The initiative for this proposal is primarily from Ontolonie Township, but Leesport supports the proposal to amend the county comp plan to be consistent with the recently amended joint comp plan of Leesport Borough and Ontolonie Township. The proposal would be to remove about 135 acres on the south side of Ida Red Road from the county's designated future growth area as described by David. The goal of this request is to make the land in question eligible for the county's farmland preservation program. The township of Ontolonie was approached by the Adams family, which owns the Adams family farm, which consists of the parcels on both sides of Ida Red Road, as David described. The report that David presented, I'm going to refer to as the BCPC, Berks County Planning Commission report. I have tremendous respect for David and his staff. I think they do a tremendous job for the county. The report contains, I think, a very good summary of the steps that led us to this point with the timeline information that's contained in David's report. Those steps have so far taken a year and a half to get us to this point. So this has been a long-term process and a long-term effort by Ontolonie Township to get us to this point. Those steps included the amendment of the township zoning ordinance to make all of the Adams Farm zoned for agriculture. It included the amendment to the joint comprehensive plan to provide for this land to be agriculture as a future land use. It also included the creation for the first time in Ontolonie Township of an ag security area. And in order to have the ag security area qualify for the Farmland Preservation Program's guidelines, it was necessary to have twice the required area for an ag security area. There's a requirement of 250 acres to create an ag security area in a municipality, but the county's Farmland Preservation Program guidelines require 500 acres. So initially, we had an application from the Adams family to include their land, which by itself is more than 250 acres, to create the initial ag security area for Ontolonie Township. When we learned that it was necessary to double those acres, the township reached out to farmers in the township, and we had a remarkable response. We had no difficulty receiving applications from an additional more than 250 acres. The reputation of Ontolonie Township historically has been that it is pro-development and is not a supporter of ag preservation. And the fact that there has never been until now an ag security area in the township is an indication of that lack of support historically by the Board of Supervisors for farmland preservation. But what we found in this process is that there is, in fact, a desire among property owners in Ontolonie Township for preservation of their right to farm through the ag security area, and also support for farmland preservation. When we spoke to those farmers, we found that they just didn't think it was possible in Ontolonie Township. But through the efforts of the Adams family and the efforts of the Board of Supervisors, there is now a path that may be available for those property owners to attempt to participate in the county farmland preservation program for the first time. Where I disagree with the BCPC report is in its exclusion of certain key information, which I believe is pertinent to the question before the Board of Commissioners. As a consequence of what I believe is missing information, I believe the BCPC report results in the wrong recommendation, respectfully, to the Board of Commissioners. There are two key concerns that I interpret from the BCPC report. First, the report is concerned about the substantive impact of the proposal on the county's planning goal of encouraging the development of more housing in Berks County. Second, the report is concerned that the proposal represents piecemeal amendment of the county comprehensive plan and that there are certain negative consequences from that. I want to address each of those issues. First, on the planning goal of developing more housing, the report fails to acknowledge, although there was reference in David's report to certain approved or planned development in connection with the sewer system in the township. That was part of David's presentation. But what I think is more important to emphasize to you is that Oneonta Township has in fact been a leader in the county in planning for development of all kinds, including residential and commercial development. Focusing on residential only, there are several residential projects currently in the planning process in Oneonta Township. The Epting Tract development, which wasn't mentioned, I believe, in David's report, includes 220 residential units, and those are the zoning is approved for the Epting Tract development. It is going through the planning process. Another project has recently come in, which I described to the Planning Commission when I met with them a few weeks ago, but since that time, the plan has actually been submitted, and I know that the Planning Commission has reviewed that plan. And this is the Willow Creek Farms development, which is in the southeast corner of Oneonta Township near Route 222. This development includes 190 single-family dwellings and 115 townhouses. The Willow Creek Farms development has also received zoning approval and is moving through the planning process. These two projects alone total 525 additional residential units coming online in Oneonta Township in the near future. These new projects are in addition to future connections at the already approved McIntosh project of 165 single and semi-detached homes. In addition, there are potential projects which have purchased sewer capacity but have not yet submitted plans, called the Orchards with 39 units and Apple Ridge with 75 residential units. Altogether, these projects total 804 residential units approved in planning or proposed in Oneonta Township. To the extent that municipal resistance to residential housing projects is a problem in Berks County, Oneonta Township is not the source of that problem. The current proposal to amend the county comprehensive plan was triggered by a request from the Adams family, longtime farmers in the township who are now elderly and wish to preserve their farm or seek the preservation of their farm through the County Farmland Preservation Program if the county comp plan is amended to make that possible. The Adams family's request struck a nerve with the Board of Supervisors. The supervisors are witnessing the rapid loss of farmland for commercial and residential development in Oneonta Township. There is now very little farmland remaining in the township, which is not already slated for development. The supervisors view the Adams family's desire to preserve their farm as an opportunity to ensure that agriculture remains a part of the township landscape, physically, economically, and socially on a permanent basis. The preservation of the Adams family farm would also create a permanent green space between the existing residential development and planned residential development in Oneonta Township and the commercial and especially warehouse development occurring next door north on Route 61 in Perry Township. Another fact which is omitted from the BCPC report is the fact that there are multiple existing preserved farms only 2 properties away, to the northeast and to the southeast of the Adams Farm. Accordingly, the Adams family farm is not just in the path of development, it is also in the path of preservation. The challenge for elected officials is to determine where the lines between development and preservation should be drawn. The Ottolani supervisors are seeking the cooperation of the county commissioners to respect the township's vision for where that line should be drawn. Next, on the question of piecemeal amendment to the comp plan. This issue, I believe, is greatly overstated. The MPC, as David has already acknowledged, provides a procedure for the amendment of the comp plan. If the statutory procedures are followed, the amendment of the comp plan is permitted. Furthermore, this particular request is unique and therefore should not be of great concern in terms of its impact on other possible amendments of the county comp plan. The reason I believe it is unique is because it is a downzoning of the property in question. And what I mean by that is it is a change in the future land use to a less intensive land use than the one that it is designated in the current county comp plan. This means required if this land is not developed. That is much different where an amendment to the comp plan is requested to upzone a property, where much more thought would be required to ensure adequate infrastructure and public services would be available for the development of the land. For example, in Ottolani Township, the impact of development on the Schuylkill Valley School District must always be taken into consideration. Preservation of the Adams family farm would reduce, not increase, the burden on the school district. However, as I've already indicated, there are many other projects in the pipeline which will have a direct and substantial impact on the Schuylkill Valley School District without development occurring on the Adams family farm. Also, Ottolani Township has made a tremendous effort to get to this point in the process. And again, I believe this makes the request of Ottolani Township in Leesport Borough unique and one that other municipalities are unlikely to follow. As I've already indicated, the township has been working on this for 1.5 years already. It has committed effort and resources to the process of amending its zoning ordinance, amending the joint comp plan, creating an ag security area, and coming to the County Planning Commission and the County Board of Commissioners seeking your cooperation for the amendment to the county comp plan. This is an investment and a commitment by Ottolani Township, which is tremendous and unprecedented in my experience of many years of working with municipalities in Berks County. Therefore, again, I believe this is not setting a precedent about which you should be concerned. Another reason why it is appropriate for this amendment at this time is because of the time sensitivity of the request from the Adams family. The Adams family farm is owned by, well, when we started this process, it was 4 elderly siblings. It is now 3 elderly siblings because one has passed away. And they wish to secure the preservation of this property before they are no longer here. So it is their vision that resulted in the request for these changes that we're considering. Another factor that I want to speak to is the discussion in the BCPC report about the fact that the township and the borough could have updated their comp plan on a comprehensive basis and have not yet done so. They simply made an amendment for this issue. And again, it was the time sensitivity of the situation that led them to choose the path that they followed. And they have initiated, I believe through a discussion or application with the County Planning Commission, the initiation of the process to update on a more comprehensive basis the Joint Comprehensive Plan. As far as the prior review and approval processes for the regular cycle of county comprehensive plans, when that process was occurring here at the county, this issue was not on the radar of the Board of Supervisors in Ottawa Township or the Borough Council in Leesport. So it's simply a timing issue that this could not have been incorporated into your regular cycle of updating the county comprehensive plan. There is another issue I want to address, and that is the county funding for the pump station upgrade. Ottawa Township is very appreciative for the funding that the county has made available for that project. But I want to make it clear today that there is no connection between that project and the possibility of extending sewer service to the Adams family farm. And I'm going to call upon Liz to speak to that issue specifically.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'll make this quick. I appreciate David Hunter's comments, and I know that this is a major concern that we received this grant on behalf of the county for this pump station. But what I want to clarify is that that grant is to support the existing capacity that we already sold. So the improvements that are being made to Pump Station 7 and the money that we're receiving from the county is to replace that 4-inch pipe with a 6-inch pipe, which should have been done in the beginning when the pump station was constructed. But this is like a Band-Aid. So this pump station upgrade, and with the county money, is only going to be servicing the existing capacity. So we have a big problem, moving forward. I know BCPC has a big concern saying, hey, we're giving you this money for this pump station upgrade, but you have to understand that that's not going to accommodate this future development coming in. Epting with the 220 units. We also have 2 sketch plans that were submitted on behalf of Farino that have not been before the BCPC, which is Orchards, 32 homes, Apple Ridge, 65 single family homes. So it is a big issue. Also, Leesport Borough Authority, which we also represent, we have a big problem with capacity at that plant. Right now, they're making an upgrade to accommodate existing capacity. We don't even have any more capacity purchased at this plant to accommodate future development, future residential development. So this is why this makes so much sense in my mind for the county to consider removing these parcels from residential development and placing them back into rural conservation, especially in light of the sewer issue and the fact that we cannot accommodate, this township cannot accommodate this future residential growth. We already have enough residential growth, and that's why this makes sense from a planning perspective and also from a public utility perspective. Thank you.
I think that's enough. And
Okay.
I appreciate your time this morning for us to make this presentation on behalf of Leesport Borough and Ottawa Township.
Thank you very much. Is there any other stakeholder comment before I go to public comment? Because I do have 2 other people that signed to comment. So hearing no other stakeholder comment, before we go to public comment, I want to make very clear, we are not making any decision today. In discussions with planning, we wanted to hear the testimony today. We may want additional information, and we have set the commissioners meeting for Thursday, November 16th, as a meeting where we will render a decision on the request. So I don't want anyone to think that there's going to be a decision voted on the spot. We didn't think that that was an appropriate way for us to respond. So with that, I'm going to take time does apply here. We'll start with Gary Haddon, Onalani Township Supervisor. Do you want to speak? You signed up. You don't have to speak, Gary. Okay, not a problem. Okay, not a problem at all. And then Jody Galker from Richmond Township. She is the chair of the Berks County Planning Commission. And please make sure the mic's on. There you go.
Thank you, Chairman Linebaugh. Good morning, commissioners.
Good morning.
My name is Jody Gawker. I'm a loud and proud Richmond Township farmer, chair of the Berks County Planning Commission, and also president of Berks Agricultural Resource Network. If there's an advocate for agriculture, I'm it. On September 13th, Berks County Planning Commission resolved, following public meetings in July and September, to adopt a memorandum prepared by Berks County Planning Commission staff regarding the request for the Leesport Borough and Onalani Township to revise the Berks County Comprehensive Plan future land use map. There were 6 reasons for doing so, which included that the change in 5 parcels is inconsistent with the current Berks County Comprehensive Plan that was just adopted January 2020. The parcels aforementioned could be included in an ag security area. On January 30th, 2023, Berks County Planning Commission reviewed the proposed joint municipal comp plan the municipalities adopted in March, but the Berks County Planning Commission staff indicated the future land use map is not consistent with the future land use map is inconsistent with the Berks County Comprehensive Plan because it is in proximity to developed areas with access to public water and sewer. The Berks County Department of Agriculture has indicated that their future land use map is consistent. The future growth designation is consistent with the municipality's planning code in the future growth. The memorandum to the Ag Land Preservation Board in September of 2010 indicates that easements for Ag Land Preservation Board should be consistent with the county comp plan, and the Department of Ag staff agree with this policy and adhere to it. It should be stated that the Berks County Planning Commission is not indicating that these 5 parcels cannot be farmed. In fact, they can. The individual landowner has the option to sell the land to a farmer who will continue farming it. That is also a legacy. Changing the zoning does not mean that it cannot be farmed. Furthermore, the comp plan of Leesport Borough and Onalani Township has been amended several times, but action has not been taken to finally update it. In fact, their plan has not been updated since 1996. Slow planning or neglect of planning on the part of municipalities or families should not and cannot constitute an emergency on behalf of the county. Countless hours of staff time have been used for this manner and could have been used in more meaningful planning and not used on this issue. Protocols are in place to address updates to the county comprehensive plan, should municipalities select to do so. Please put this issue to rest so that more effective and consistent planning can be done on behalf of the counties and the municipalities it serves. Thank you.
Your microphone. Your microphone.
Apparently Michael's is on. I don't know what's it with me today. I don't turn the microphone on. As noted earlier, there will be no decision rendered today by the Board of Commissioners. Let me clarify specifically what is being amended, the county comp plan, the 2030 comp plan, out of its normal update cycle. That is the request. This has nothing to do with the county redirecting or telling the township they can't do what they've already done. It is a specific request that instead of waiting until about 5 years or less, but somewhere, because we just finished the 2030, 2020 update, it's going out of cycle. That is the request on the table. So we will, at this time, unless the commissioners have any comment, I would accept a motion to close the public hearing.
I just want to note for the record, there was an comment online that the individual was asked for name and municipality. The individual provided name but no municipality, so I have dismissed that public comment online.
Okay. Thank you, Solicitor Sadler. Michael, you have a comment?
I do. Well, it's a question for Liz, where she mentioned about the sewer upgrade. It's basically only for the existing development that's in the area, not for new capacity. How will this, the new developments that are coming up that they spoke about, how will they be served with sewer?
That's a good question. I don't know at this point. We'll have to talk to Leesport Borough Authority. There's many upgrades that will be needed to be done to the plant. We'll also have to look at Pump Station 7 again. Right now, like I said, the grant that was given by the county is to accommodate the capacity that is already there. That pump station was such in bad shape because of the 4-inch pipe that was originally constructed at that location that we had to make these repairs. So without the county's money, we would have had to find that money to do that. And that's just there to accommodate the existing capacity that was already sold. So Michael, I'm at a loss as to how we will accommodate future residential capacity. That's why with Epting coming in, and also now Willow Creek is going to be serviced by Maiden Creek, so that's a good thing. But with Epting and the other two Farino developments, we're at a loss. We're maxed out. That's why we also think this is a win-win and very good for planning, based on the fact that we're having issues with public utilities in the area.
Okay, thank you, Liz.
Thank you. And I would be happy to bring in our engineer if you have any further questions about that. But thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, and thank you to everybody who has come today for your work, including our Department of Planning. We have these hearings so that we can access more information, and I certainly plan to do that as we move towards the decision in November 16th. So thank you, everyone, for coming out, and thank you for your time and efforts here. And with that, I'm happy to put a motion to adjourn this public hearing.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The public hearing is adjourned, and we will move into our regular meeting. Are there any additions or corrections for the September 28th meeting minutes? Hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as presented. I do want to note we had an executive session yesterday. That would be October the 4th, dealing with personnel, litigation, and security. We had another executive session this morning, October the 5th, dealing with personnel. Is there any public comment on specific agenda items? Seeing none in person, none online. We'll move to item 1, authorizing. Under that, Budget Department, adopt a resolution authorizing 2023 budget transfers in the amount of $96,293 and 2023 appropriations in the amount of $49,285 per listing dated September the 29th of 2023. We have several items listed under the Commissioners. Item A, adopt a resolution authorizing Kevin S. Barnhart, COO, and Larry Medaglia, Deputy COO, to take the next steps of the implementation process of the Beers-Hoffman plans for the Service Center, Courthouse, and South Campus buildings. Item B, adopt a resolution setting forth policies and procedures for the exemption from county real property taxation pursuant to Act 76 of 1977, known as the Local Economic Revitalization Tax Assistance Act. Item 7, adopt a resolution authorizing to execute the 5 stipulations for an agreement for payment in lieu of taxes by and between Callahan Housing LLC, Supportive Concepts for Families, Inc., Daniel Boone Area School District, and Berks County for each of the 5 following tax appeals. They are listed. Item D, adopt a resolution authorizing Cody L. Kaufman, First Assistant County Solicitor, to execute the 3 stipulations for an agreement for payment in lieu of taxes between Callahan Housing LLC, Supportive Concepts for Families, Inc., and Wilson School District and Berks County for each of the following 3 tax appeals. They are also listed. Item E, adopt a resolution authorizing Cody L. Kaufman, First Assistant County Solicitor, to execute the 2 stipulations for an agreement for payment in lieu of taxes by and between Callahan Housing LLC, Supportive Concepts for Families, Inc., Reading School District, and Berks County for each of the following 2 tax appeals. They are listed. Item F, adopt a resolution authorizing Cody L. Kaufman, First Assistant County Solicitor, to execute the stipulation for an agreement for payment in lieu of taxes between Callahan Housing LLC, Supportive Concepts for Families, Inc., Kutztown Area School District, and Berks County for the following tax appeal, and that appeal is listed. Item G, adopt a resolution authorizing the chair to execute the memorandum of understanding between the City of Reading and the County of Berks for the allocation of $14,835.20 to the Berks County Law Enforcement Departments to be used in the year 2024. Item 2, a motion to authorize execution of contract listing dated September the 29th of 2023. There are a total of 10 contracts. There are 2 with CareerLink. There's 1 with Children and Youth Services, 1 with the Commissioners, 3 with Human Resources, and 3 with Mental Health and Developmental Disabilities. Item 3, a motion to authorize execution of the payments and electronic transfers for the week ending October the 5th of 2023. Item 4, a motion to authorize execution of employee payroll disbursements dated October the 10th of 2023. And item 5, a motion to authorize execution of tax collector payroll payments dated October the 13th of 2023.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The motion is carried. With that, we'll move to reports of our treasurer and controller. And we're going to begin with our treasurer, Sock Georgiadis.
Good morning, all.
Good morning.
We have an opening balance today of $241,943,229.61. We have a balance to clear $6,540,317.82, leaving us with a balance of $235,402,911.79. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Sock. And we'll move now to our County Controller, Sandy Graffius, for the Controller's Report.
Morning. Total accounts payable, $6,454,125.30. As you mentioned, we have payrolls. Employee payroll is $4,913,700.30. Our tax collector payroll is $12,508.50 for a grand total of $11,380,334.10.
Thank you very much, Sandy. And we'll move now to the report of our Chief Operations Officer, Kevin Barnhart.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. Our COO team would just like to again thank the Board of Commissioners for your support on the resolution authorizing Larry and myself to take the next steps in the implementation of the space study timeline and conceptual plans for the Service Center Courthouse and South Campus. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. And with that, we are at Commissioner's comments, and we'll begin with Commissioner Michael Rivera.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. I just have a few items here I want to bring up. First, this Saturday, Commissioner Leinbach and I were at the Fleetwood 150th Anniversary Parade. Had a really good turnout from participants in the parade and also people there to see the parade. So kudos to Fleetwood and Mayor Gore for the great job, and the team there at Fleetwood for the great job they did with the 150th anniversary. Not a lot of sun, no rain, so it's a really good celebration there. Also on Sunday was the Berks Cultural Diversity Festival in City Park in Reading. Well, I mentioned this is because Imagine Berks had a table there, and we had 4 of our staff, which is Pam Shuck, Derek, Jeremy Severowski, and Derek Harris. He works with Pam Shuck in the Community and Economic Development Department. Jeremy Zaborowski from the Industrial Development Authority, and Ashley Showers from the Planning Commission. And they were there to be able to speak with the participants, speak with county residents about what their vision is for Berks County. And they got a lot of good feedback. They had a lot of people that went there. I had some pictures. Unfortunately, I can't put them up right now, but they had a great turnout. It was a great opportunity for the Imagine Berks team to get out and speak with residents about what their vision is for Berks County and what they see as happening. Next item is this Sunday is the Puerto Rican Parade in Reading. I will be there. Commissioner Leinbach will be there as well. And it begins at 11 a.m. So if you're in the area, please drop by. That's all I have. Back to you.
Thank you very much. We'll move now to Commissioner Lucine Sahelnik.
Thank you, Commissioner Leinbach. And I want to begin by demonstrating my support. It's October and I'm wearing my pink pin and my ribbon, just recognizing that we are calling attention to breast cancer awareness. And indeed, this past weekend, our Berks County Support Services here in the area did have their event, again, to bring awareness and to give a place for those in recovery and remembrance of those we've lost and their family and friends who continue to be affected. I am one of those who most recently have lost my mother-in-law to breast cancer. We can't stop talking about it. And so please have that at the top of your mind and in your heart as you walk through this month. In addition, I want to talk about another celebration. So we, as commissioners, do a lot of work on the weekends and in the evenings and during the daytime. But it was my privilege to attend at Albright, the Association of University Women on their celebratory 100th year anniversary of their organization, their advocacy, and their activism for women here in the chapter of Berks County in Reading. It was really delightful to be surrounded by women of various different ages and backgrounds and professions, all trying to continue to pursue a better world of equity and opportunity. So just tune into what that group does, that it does exist. They're always looking for new members. But also they are the group that works very closely with the library group for Book Bonanza, which I know we do talk about and support. And so we certainly are working towards assisting them to the best of our capability to continue hosting that event. That event earns dollars that goes towards scholarships for women in our community to continue to accomplish and achieve further. So we want to continue to support that. In addition, I know that this is something we will discuss more this afternoon. We are having a election services meeting today at 12:15. This is something that is being debated as we speak in the House, and that is really the potential of moving the 2024 election primary date. Right now, I am in constant conversation with our House representatives who are working towards this. I'll be reviewing the bill that was proposed and passed to move the date to April 2nd. There could be a decision as early as today on that. And, you know, we just want to make sure that we're covering all the bases here. But I can assure you that as a county, what we are trying to ensure is that if there is a change, that we have the support and the time for our election services department to make sure that they are in place and ready to go with those changes. Moving a date to April 2nd is consistent with Connecticut, New York, and Wisconsin. It certainly does provide some challenges. And so we want to read through SB 224. For those of you who are interested, I encourage you to look up the actual bill, to read through the bill analysis that is on the table right now, and consider what this change could be to impact you. But most certainly, we are focused as the county on how this would impact our election services department and all of our constituents involved in the election process. So again, if you're interested in that, we will be certainly touching base on that. I'll be repeating this message during our election services board meeting today at 12:15. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Just one item that I want to address. Yesterday morning, the County Commissioners Association Board of Directors had a meeting on that very subject. And we are in the process of writing a letter to the legislature and the governor recommending against moving the presidential primary date. We are very appreciative of all the efforts, but early in the summer when these efforts began, we implored all of those involved that it needed to be a decision that was made sooner, not later. We're in October. We're talking about a March 19th date is what the Senate is holding on to. The House is proposing an April 2nd date. We do not see this being resolved in time. However, we are open to moving the date for future elections. We do not want, however, to get into a situation that we've been, I think, every 4 years since I've been in office, and that is every 4 years, the issue about the year before the presidential election comes up. There's discussion and debate in the legislature, and it normally fails because they run out of time. We think it makes sense to continue this effort and do one of two things. Either move the date of all primaries to a new date earlier in the process, or to simply do what we have right now, that our normal primary is in May, and currently the presidential year is moved up a month in April, where they want to move it to March, whatever the time period is. They make that new date effective in 2028. But there was unanimous agreement among our board of directors that 2024 already is going to be a very important election, an election that is going to receive a tremendous amount of scrutiny, in part because of the 2020 election. And with all of that scrutiny, you add this additional pressure of compressed timelines. The March 19th, there's no question that it is going to fundamentally change and compress timelines in the normal process for elections. I've had discussions with some of our legislative delegation and really do appreciate their effort. The conclusion that for us to sit back and just let whatever happens happen without making it clear that we believe it is now too late to make this change without creating dire consequences for county election departments who have the sole responsibility to run these elections. To not do that would have been irresponsible on the part of county leaders. I've already seen a draft of that letter, and when I say draft, I mean a draft. We're in the process today of approving that final version as a board, and it will go out to all of the appropriate parties. So just wanted to share that information. I think it's pretty important. And I know Ann Norton and Stephanie Weaver in our elections department, they're planning ahead. Let me just, because I have some additional, we specifically have decided to list the most critical issues that we think will be impacted. One of them is polling locations. We have more than 9,000 polling locations all across the Commonwealth. And in most cases, those are contracted 6 months to a year in advance. If we have to move the date, that can have fundamental impacts on those locations. Secondly, poll workers, again, poll workers right now are working are planning based on the date that is already established. It has already been very difficult over the last number of years to get the number of poll workers that we need. We think this puts an additional burden. Staffing impacts, when you look at all of the challenges that are being placed and then you contract the amount of time to do the work. We are ready, many counties, I think we're fully staffed right now. In our department. But there are many counties that are not. And then to add this additional pressure is a concern. So those are the three areas that we're focusing on. We didn't want to just simply say, we're recommending that you not change the date for 2024. Here are three biggest areas of concern, and there's a lot more detail shared than what I just shared right now. So I hope that is helpful. That's all that I have. With that, are there any comments from row officers? Hearing none, we do have one comment online, and it relates to what I was just talking about. It is Renee from Sinking Spring. If there are issues with the election coinciding with religious observances, please just ensure that those who want to observe can cast their ballot early instead of moving. So they can cast their ballot early. I could be wrong, but I think even absentee ballots predating mail-in ballots, if somebody had a religious reason they're not going to be able to be available to vote on election day, you could do that even with the absentee. But That's not an issue because you can vote early. More importantly, that is one of the issues that's been pushing the date in various directions. What was shared with us yesterday by Ken Lawrence, Commissioner in Montgomery County, and Joe Kantz, Commissioner in Snyder County, they co-chair, one Democrat, one Republican, co-chair a statewide election. It's not the task force, but something along those lines, election reform committee. They've reached the same conclusion. They're not a county commissioners association group. They were put together by the Commonwealth. They have reached the exact same conclusion, but they shared with us there are actually 3 religious holidays that can be impacted when you're looking at that March, early April time period. And you have to be careful. You don't want to make the decisions solely based on one of those 3. Then there's going to be a 4th one. So they have to look at this very carefully. That's not so much our concern, and that was the conclusion of the board. And it's not to say we don't care about religions. We do. But our concern and responsibility as an election board is to run elections on election day and everything involved in leading up to and after election day. And after looking at all of that, it is our unanimous, the board, CCAP board's unanimous recommendation that they not move the presidential primary for 2024. So, but good question, Renee. Any other comments? Okay, that brings us to the end of our agenda.
Motion to adjourn.
The meeting stands adjourned. Thank you.